So go ahead and take a deep breath. And I will mute you all. So it's nice and quiet. I'm Mary Bell Nyman from the Psychic Horizon Center. Nice to have you here. We're going to continue with working on self-love for the next couple of weeks. So sit back and relax. And like every class we always start by grounding. So find that energy connection at the very base of your spine, that first chakra. And we're going to connect it to the very center of the earth. And you can use a giant redwood tree. You could use an upside down candy cane that hooks into an anchor at the bottom of the earth, center of the earth. Energy isn't fussy. So any kind of connection that connects that first chakra to the center of the earth will work. It can be a beam of light, just anything you want to try. And expand it so it's as big around as your hips. And sitting back comfortably in your chair, just allowing your body to be grounded. That grounding helps to release any energy, anything that's not yours. Automatically goes down that grounding cord. It gives you a sense of time and space, so it makes it so much easier to just be you and let go of anything that isn't. The nice thing about energy is it's not fussy. It just moves. There's no effort. It's kind of like turning on water on a faucet. You don't have to pull the water out of the faucet. It just goes. It's the same thing with energy. So you can substitute water or electricity for energy, and it's the same thing. It's just there. It's a constant until you turn it off. So as we pick up from last week on self-love, we'll be looking at any concepts that keep us from loving ourselves. And so let's start really simply and just ask that grounding cord to pull out of your space any place you're holding on to energy that you haven't forgiven, whether it's for yourself or someone else. Forgiveness is an amazing space to work. And sometimes we get in a place where we might resist things. And so to me, forgiveness is like returning to a state of unconditional love, satisfaction, peace, and power. It really gives you your space back. So take a deep breath and just let go of any thoughts of, having to square things up on either side. It's a great way to read the paper or to watch TV, because instead of getting pulled into whatever's going on and getting annoyed or angry, it lets you start to go, oh, where have I ever in any lifetime had a similar experience? Can I forgive that in myself, but in that person? And so allowing anything that gets triggered in you to be actually a mirror and just help you reflect and let go of things you didn't even know you were carrying. But if they make you mad, there's the hint. Or if they make you angry, disappointed, then that's worth working on, releasing that energy. To me, forgiveness is about letting go of all the past. It's not logical. Forgiveness is very simple. If you feel guilty about something, then forgiveness is lacking. So take a deep breath and just go inward for a minute, turning off the world around you and finding that inner space inside you. I would suggest closing your eyes, letting your body just relax, and taking about 3 deep breaths. That cues the body that you're turning the world off and going inside. And as you breathe, start to let go of anything you've been holding on to. Any place you've found yourself or judged yourself guilty. Just decide tonight's a great night to let it go. What the heck? Forgiveness has nothing to do with anyone but you. Forgiveness is so that you can feel better about yourself. Although you may notice the other person feels better about you as well, but that really isn't the point. So taking that deep breath and just letting any energy you're ready to let go of go straight down that grounding cord to the center of the earth. And at the center of the earth, it's recycled. And it goes back in neutral to whoever you have it with. Even if it's yourself, it comes back to you in neutral. The ultimate in recycling. Breathe and let go. And this is such a great practice, this letting go, because by the end of your life, and we really don't know what day that's planned. If you thought you had life together, look at 2020. It's been a little bit of a jumble, things we hadn't expected. So when you look at your life, letting go is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Yesterday doesn't even exist anymore. It's gone. You get a new day every day so you can start over. And it's a great way to wear and carry your energy because it gives you that freedom to be right in the moment, right in present time. So as you let go, you begin to get lighter and lighter, and there's more room for what you do want to attract, whether it's a new job, a new career. As a spirit, as you let go, it gives you more space to create and use your own life force. And that's a great way to live. In many ways, forgiveness is its own reward. So as you begin letting go of that, any energy down your grounding cord, that forgiveness seems to let go of anything that separates you from someone else. It stops communication. And as you let go of and have more forgiveness, then it opens those doors to communication up again. So healing gives you the ability to unite. I think one of the misconceptions we have is that we can only see love in ourselves, in others. So when you can get rid of anything that is holding you back, it lets you connect with that person. You see that person just like you see yourself. And this, we've heard a million times about the all souls coming together, the oneness of uniting. And to me, it's kind of like if I can see that light, if I can hold that person in the same level of light I'm in, then, and no matter who they are, they're still a divine being, whether they're acting like one or not, whole different story. But you can forgive where they are. Maybe in another lifetime, you were a meanie, and maybe they're a meanie this time. But it gives you that space. It lets you have that place of being united in the oneness of Source. So again, as we speak, just allow energy that you've been holding on to just go down that grounding cord. There's no effort to it. It's like pouring a glass of water. You can't hold water in air. Gravity just takes it. So allowing it to be released. And just, again, close your eyes and put your attention behind your eyes. And just notice one thing, any place you feel like you have some non-forgiveness. Maybe pick one person or one situation. And just notice the unforgiving mind thrives on conflict. And just for yourself, look and see that conflict. What is that about for you? It always makes us look at ourselves as innocent, and the guilt is out there, outside of us. In many ways, that lack of forgiveness continues the karma. Kind of like, an eye for an eye. It's like, if I'm stuck, I can't forgive you. It's like you have to be able to forgive yourself in order to forgive that other person. And that's a great thing to play with when you look at self-love. Because if you turn the table, look at that one conflict you're looking at. If that person who hurt you, if you had been that person, if you had hurt them, would you want to be forgiven? All of us make mistakes. All of us have our days that aren't pretty. We want to be perfect, but we aren't. It'd be boring. But really looking at it as a return to innocence in yourself and in others. And just giving yourself that permission to forgive both yourself, anything you've done that maybe wasn't your best moment, your brightest shining star moment, and forgive that person or that event. And sometimes we get programmed by our culture, by our environment, by our families, the people we're around, to move in a certain direction. And years later, you go, oh, I wish I had listened to myself. I wouldn't have picked that same path. And those are the greatest awarenesses, the greatest aha moments, because it isn't about being right or wrong. It's really, what did you learn? And if you can go back and really let that moment go, take the learning from it, then you move forward, especially on a soul level. It really frees the soul to create and expand. And so forgiveness is just so key in moving forward in your own personal growth. And it's a very private thing. We don't talk about it that often in the public world. There's one, I think it's Umbuta. It's a group village thing in Africa where if somebody, does something wrong, they take that person and the village surrounds them and they just talk about everything they've done right and remind them who they are as a spirit, as a body for 2 days. And then the village goes about their business. But they have a feeling that, a soul gets lost when they act out of character, or they um, violate, someone else's space. So it's interesting. We would throw them in jail and keep them for 50 years. I think their way has a lot more ability to rehab that person and remind them of who they are. So, in the spirit of that, again, with your attention inward, imagine any of the people that you've held issues with. One way is to see them as little children, innocent, playful, doing the best they can. And just for tonight, if you need to hate them tomorrow, that's your business. But just for tonight, practice letting go of anything you're holding on to. Not having a score of right or wrong, but just seeing both of yourselves as innocent. Kind of like, great mistake. What can I learn from it? Take that information and move forward. It isn't meant to be held on to for years and years and years. Some things, I agree, are harder to forgive than others. They make us work. But in the end, if you were going to die tonight, what would you choose to hold on to? And this, to me, is one of the best ways of really putting things in perspective. I worked in hospice 10 years, and when you're working with people that are dying, they aren't looking at these little petty fights or disagreements that we get into. That isn't where they are. They're moving into this tremendously sacred, holy space. And in it, there's nothing but love. So you're moving into this ocean of love. Like I said last week, it's like standing on the edge of a swimming pool, and you don't remember that little leap in the air, but that whoosh into the cool water, you remember. And that's that feeling of being pulled back into pure spirit, nothing but love. You do your life review, and you get to look at everything you've ever created as a spirit and a body in this lifetime. And in many, many ways, we're coached by a team of spiritual advisors, if you will, that helps us look at some of the places we got stuck and shows us different examples. Hey, what would have happened if you tried this? And again, you get some aha moments. But it isn't about the good and the bad, you got an X by your name, you made a mistake. It isn't like that. So when you're dying, you're moving into this volume of pure love and awareness that lets you let go of all the petty things. And you start to vibrate in that space of love yourself. So people around you, there's people that, haven't talked to their families in 20 years. And on that deathbed, they may want to change things. They may want to find that space of freedom so they're not holding on. The easiest thing to do is give it to yourself now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to be dying. I kind of like that part. So from this space, you have total freedom. What do you want to let go of? And whether that person is ready or not really doesn't matter. You will be in a space where you can let go of it. And that's all recorded. You have a record keeper that spiritually keeps track of all that stuff, and so do they. And that forgiveness sits there and is held for them. And whenever they get ready, they have it. And that's really nice because on your side, you can let go of it. And whether it takes them a little longer or not, doesn't matter. You're still free. If, say, you die and you hold on to it, it becomes like a magnet. And who do you attract back in your next life? That person, because you're still holding a chunk of their energy. So that's a really good thing to be aware of. That may make it worth letting go of for you. And, things happen. We get betrayed, somebody cheats on us, somebody lies, uh, somebody takes your money, whatever it is, and it feels really big. And yet on your deathbed, it's going to be a moot point because it doesn't go with you. You can't take it with you. It's more about what did you learn? And all of us go through these tremendous challenges when we're in a body. We can't know what the other person's going through. All we can know is what we're going through. So it lets you start to look at what you want to release. So again, take that big, deep breath and look at something you want to forgive. Let's practice. And say hello to the consciousness within you that's been holding on to it. And let it know, hey, you know what? It's okay to let it go now. It's kind of like going to the president of a company, going up to the top and really communicating where you are with this issue. And letting that hurt release, letting that initial injury heal. Whatever that original injury is, let it go. It's like weeding out the emotional part of being hurt, the physical part, the mental part, the spiritual part. There's a lot of different places we hold energy, and a lot of it is unconscious. We don't even recognize it. And as you become more and more aware, you start to find this place of forgiveness is one of the things that allows you to grow the most and really open up into your own level of self-love. And as you're looking at this forgiveness space, when someone's energy hurts you, what really hurts? In some ways, it's not even really you. It's they're lighting up all the lies in you because that's where you've been trapped and you have no space. So they're not hitting so much the truth in you because that doesn't hurt. The truth is always real. And what's real is there forever. So look at your own issue and what lie are you trapped with in that hurt? And just get curious. Again, for right now, there's no wrong or right. Just let yourself get curious. Just learning to be neutral when you look at energy. It's the body that holds the resistance. When you bring all your spiritual wisdom and truth to the picture, then there's no lies. That's your freedom. So in that level of what is resistance, you could say the pain that gets lit up is when someone criticizes you or hurts you. The resistance is that ego. It's kind of like the self-preservation. And you aren't so much your ego, it's part of you, but as a soul, you can start to separate and find a little bit more neutrality. That part of us, that me, mine, just as little kids will say, this is mine. You can't have it. And it's the part of the mind that kind of holds on to pain to protect us from it. We don't want it to happen again. So we hold on really tight. And that's that ego trying to kind of defend ourselves. So again, let's do something about it. I want you to imagine looking down to that first chakra. It's right at the very base of your spine, and it deals with survival. It's the center of your self-preservation. And so there's messages that are stored there, like, this is who I am, this is what I need, this is mine. And you strive to preserve whatever you feel like is your truth. As you learn to have your space, you don't have to possess it. If you have to protect it, you're resisting who is in your first chakra that you can't get out. And just move that concept out of your first chakra. So this is what we teach at the center, are energy tools that make it easy to separate from this kind of energy. One energy tool we've used in here is we make a big bubble, put a magnet in it, and just let it pull out of our body anything we're holding on to. So anything you're trying to protect or you find yourself resisting, let it pull that out. And again, energy takes no effort. When that bubble gets full, pop it. And just notice how the body feels. And do another one. If there's another part of your body that you feel resistance in, there's a tremendous amount of effort that goes into resisting something, trying to push it away. When you non-resist it, it just goes right through you, down your grounding cord, and is gone. So as a psychic and as a healer, you learn to really, in many ways, find that place of neutrality where you can just release what isn't working. It gives you more space, and then you can actually create more of what you want. Where if you're resisting and pushing back on some energy from a boss, from a coworker, from a friend, a parent, a child, if you resist that energy, then it takes a tremendous amount of effort to keep it away, to safeguard yourself. And this is where you can start to lose some of your own personal space. And one of the best tools I know when you get in resistance is amusement, because amusement is actually an energy tool. It raises the vibration and nothing can stick. So it's why we make bad jokes, why we tease each other. Because if you can find just this much amusement, especially when it is not funny, it just lets you move through it. So sometimes just having that tiny, tiny bit of amusement gives you a different perspective. It's like, well, this sucks. You know, this isn't where I thought I'd be. Look at just this year alone. It's like, wow, there have been so many ka-chings, so many curveballs. I was telling Katie as we got on tonight, we made sugar cookies at our house, and I could only find 4 cookie cutters, a bone, a tree, a squirrel, and a headless gingerbread person. And I'm like, if that in 2020 in a nutshell, I don't know what is. So instead of the stockings or we did find the tree, the stars, or, some of the things that we think of, more as Christmassy. I'm like, how do we get a squirrel and a bone? Kind of funny. So if you can have just a little bit of amusement, it allows you to move through things a lot quicker. So take a deep breath and just start to run a little bit of amusement, especially anything that feels so serious that it's bigger than you. And amusement is actually a vibration. You can start with a color. My favorite color personally for amusement is kind of a aqua blue-green. It's light. It has a lot of sparkle in it, a lot of movement to it. So just start and run amusement in your right foot. Just play with me. This is science. And let it come up your right calf. I'm using blue-green. You can use whatever color amusement is to you. Let it come into your right knee. It's just a different vibration through the right thigh, through the right tummy, through the right side of your butt, all the way up through your torso, down the right arm and out the hand and fingertips, bringing it up the right side of the neck, the right side of the head, and then boom, coming over into the left side, filling the left side of the head, the left side of the neck, letting it run down the left arm and out the fingers and fingertips. And stop it right there for just a minute. And notice how the right side of your body feels. We've only done a little bit of the left side. Notice the part we haven't gotten to yet. Can you feel the difference? Can you see one side is heavier than the other? It's subtle, but it's there. You're just becoming more aware. Then let it go through the left side of the torso. Trust me, your body will thank you. And down that left thigh, into the left knee, and again, stop it. Some of you may see this energy, some of you may feel it. That look from the left knee down, we haven't gotten to. See if you can tell the difference in that part of the leg we haven't brought amusement to. And then do it all the way down the left calf, into the left foot. We made it. And just sitting there for 1 minute and running amusement. You can, one of my favorites is hearing the laughter of a little kid. There's some great ones always on YouTube, babies laughing. There's just something about that sound that is so innocent and so healing. It could be seeing a puppy, a kittens playing, just allowing yourself to be filled with that little bit of amusement and just validation for where you are. Loving your life. And the more we learn to let go, the easier it is to hold that vibration all the time. It's like it stays with you. And just take this vibration that you're sitting in, this color, this feeling, and imagining yourself in different situations. How would it be if you got to work in this energy all the time? Or when lots of times you feel this energy when you're hanging out with your friends. What about with your family? Can you have this vibration of lightness with your family, with your partner? One of the ways to find that is start to see it in that other person. Years ago, Hope, who was my partner at the time, she and I were in relationships, and we decided that we would only validate or only say hello to what our partners were doing right. Or not right, that kind of sounds odd, but more everything that they were doing that worked. And anything, any place we were tempted to be critical, we would just not say anything, just for a week and see what happened. And it was amazing because when you start to look for fault, you can always find it, whether it's in yourself or someone else. But when you start to look at the light in someone, all the things that they do right, it's amazing how it changes that relationship. That's the other thing I learned in hospice is sometimes there's just no time. You don't realize the clock is going to run down so fast. Some of these poor people in COVID that didn't get a chance to say goodbye to their families. Hey, none of us are guaranteed. We don't know. So being able to really have appreciation and to communicate love wherever you are. And I would say both to yourself and to someone else. It's nice to do that with your family. It's nice to do that with your partner. To me, men need to hear they're appreciated. They have a hard time with some of the energy rules that have been set for men for years. And appreciation really goes a long way. Hey, I can take the garbage out. But when my husband does it, I'd let him know. It's like, thank you. I appreciate you doing that. Doesn't mean to me, it's not a role thing. We're both totally capable. But when it comes from a really genuine place, that lets that man be more of a hero. I think as women, more of us want to know that we're loved. And there's a difference, there's a balance. You know what makes your heart throb, what makes you feel alive from your partner. And we pick all different kinds of relationships. Some relationships are about learning and growing. Others are about nurturing and caring. And there's as many different kinds of relationships as there are people. But start to look at the people you're around the most with different eyes. Give them a break. Right now, everybody's been a little stressed. So the kinder you can be, both to yourself and to someone else, the farther it goes, the more you'll feel alive. So this week, practice forgiveness. Any place you see it in the newspaper, any anything can bring it up for you or trigger where you find yourself getting critical or judging. And go, oh, if that was me, how would I want to be held? It's a great way to just start practicing. And I don't think you'll regret it. I think you'll find a lot more space. And as far as self love, it's the ultimate. It lets you start to really love who you are. Take a deep breath. And then put that huge gold sun right on the top of your head. All that gold sun represents is your own life force energy. And just imagine it twice as big and think of 3 things you'd like to have for yourself that you can put in that gold sun. It can be energy things, it can be physical things, it could be more money, a new car, a different job. It could be more peace inside, really appreciating yourself, really feeling loved. Whatever it is for you. And when you're ready, pop it, just like a water balloon, whoosh, and let it flow in and fill you up from head to toe. It'll mix right in with that amusement energy. They go together really well. Letting it go into every cell of the body. And then notice, where were you when the evening started? What was your mental space, your emotional space, your physical space? And what is it now? We've done a few little experiments, but mostly you've worked on yourself. And notice that you made the change, you made the shift. And really validate yourself. You're learning how to heal yourself and really how to nurture and give to yourself. For those of you that are new to energy tools, a lot of the guys on this call have been doing it a long time, and it's really fun. We love all working together. If any of you are new to it and you want to learn energy tools, we have a new class called How to Heal Yourself, starting on Monday, January 4th. So you're welcome to join. There's a morning class and there's an evening class. And they teach you all the tools you need to know for a whole lifetime. I'm still using the same ones 40 something years later that I learned. So you're welcome to do any of that kind of work that you'd like. Just learning how to give to yourself is a huge part of that. And that increases the more you do it. So you've got homework, practice, see what you discover. What do you learn about you? All right, take a deep breath. Give that body a wiggle.